I'm so stoked that I have my friend Chris Green on the show today. And Chris has been, I don't know, he's like an e-commerce veteran, like an OG. And he's done like everything in the space. And I'll let Chris tell you about that. But I wanted to bring Chris on the show today because what he's doing is really different and unique. And it's something that any of us can do to make money. There's little to no barriers to entry here. Anyone can do it. And it's so easy the way that Chris shows us how to do it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And yeah, without further ado, welcome, Chris. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you?
Hey, Amy, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to talk about just so many things. There's so much similarity to overlap because I think we both just really like all the new stuff that comes out. And man, there's a lot of new stuff that comes out around Amazon and just technology. And when you're exposed to a lot of different aspects of it and then you see new ways to put it together, it's like, oh, AI is cool, but I don't know what to do with it. Well, how about AI to for this related to e-commerce or ooh, now it gets interesting, right? It's like self-publishing a book. Yeah, that's cool. What am I gonna do with it? Well, you could do this and this. Oh, now it's interesting. And I enjoy kind of helping people kind of get those light bulb moments where oh, I knew I could self-publish a book, but I didn't know why that was important. Yeah, now let's talk about that. So there's so many things out there. And I feel I really have done pretty much everything around Amazon. I mean, I started on eBay back in 1999, which my kids think is there were no color TVs back then. It was so long ago. eBay to very early seller on Amazon. I wish I had the stats. I was one of the very first FBA sellers on Amazon. I can't say I was the first. I don't know that for sure. I'm sure I wasn't, but very early FBA seller. We were the first FBA software provider, the first FBA focused, mobile scanning app. I got into self-publishing. I was publishing books, and after I published a book, everybody thought I was hot stuff, and I was like, "This is cool," but I'm just a regular guy, right? I just kind of figured it out. And then you published a book. You want to come speak at our conference? You want to be the keynote speaker? You want to start hosting your own conferences? And then I discovered Merch by Amazon, which they call Amazon Merch on Demand. But man, that's just not going to catch on. It's Merch by Amazon as far as I'm concerned. And it's Print on Demand, which has been around for a while, but it's on Amazon and Prime eligible. That's interesting, right? If Print on Demand wasn't Prime eligible, I wouldn't have been as interested in it. And then got back into self-publishing. And the things you can do with self-publishing, I do say hands down that self-publishing with KDP on Amazon is the most powerful of all the platforms, depending on what you want to do. I'm sure some private label sellers might disagree with me, but that's okay. There's just so many options out there. These are options for people who want to grow a business or even just start a business. And I do feel that if someone wants to make money on the internet, I have a hard time finding somebody better to talk to than me, right? If you say, look, you want to make money on the internet and you don't know where to start, yes, I am the right person that you should talk to because I'll point you in the right direction. I'll help you, not waste your time watching hours and hours of YouTube videos that might be out of date. Imagine reading the terms of service on Amazon today, right? Compared to 2007.
Forget about it. And the reason that I wanted to bring you on the show and also help to promote your book, your new book about flipping products, is because I do have so many people in my audience that come to me and they go, Amy, I've been thinking I want to make some money. I want to do something, but I just don't know what. And a lot of people will come to me, and me, I'm into private label. I'm into product development. I'm into starting your own brand. Yes, I've done retail arbitrage. Yes, I've done wholesale. I've, sold on eBay. I started in 2007 selling online, which of course, Chris has got way many more miles before me, but either way, this is not my first rodeo, but it's not my area of expertise. And if somebody comes to me and says, Amy, I see what you're doing and I want to make some money too. I want to get out of my job. I want to do this or that, but they're in a position where they need money. They're not in a position where they are in that mindset of, I'm going to invest the money that I do have into a brand, and then I'm going to grow it, and then I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to make some money back, right? If they're not in that position, I always tell them, start with something like retail arbitrage. Start with something where you can dip your toe and you can sell someone else's products that they've already developed, that they've already made, and you can make a little money, and you don't have to worry about all of the learning curve and losses that come with starting your own brand. And so it's not that I don't recommend it for people to do that. I love private label, and I think that there's still incredible opportunity on Amazon and beyond, but it's not for everyone. So I wanted to bring Chris on, everybody, because he's doing something that anyone can do. This is your dip your toe opportunity. This is your, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So Chris, tell us about this book that you're doing, this Flips book. Tell us about what you're doing, because I keep seeing all these Facebook posts of you going, I bought this bat on, on a yard sale for $2 and I sold it for $75 on eBay. How did you get into that, and what are you doing?
I think part of getting into it, and it's probably like in people's blood, especially if they're kind of in this Amazon e-com type space, where like we like the kind of the hunt. We like seeing an opportunity and saying, oh, we could buy this and sell it over here, and we could make some money in between. And we may not even care what we're actually buying or selling. I definitely love the treasure hunt aspect of it. I do tell people I would do this for free, right? I would go to yard sales for free. I would go to yard sales and buy stuff and give it to my nieces, nephews, kids. Like I would just the fun of the hunt, right? I think that's why shows like Storage Wars are so popular, because people want to see like what are they going to find, right? And there's of course an entrepreneurship, money-making aspect to it that makes it interesting. But flipping really is that one thing that everybody can do. Like you've been exposed to so many different areas of Amazon, like private label. And that's a great example to say, yes, absolutely. You can make a lot of money with private label, but it's a different type of game, right? It's okay. We need to, invest some money in product development and inventory, and we need to invest time, sometimes months, maybe even years, sometimes before you see those big bucks coming in that people see online. Of like, hey, I launched my own private label product. Here's my first, $1 million month. And people are like, hey, I want to do that. And it's like, slow down. To be able to do that, you have to have this kind of bankroll. You have to have this kind of experience. You have to have these types of connections. Like there's all these things that people don't see behind the scenes. They just see the flash right online. And that's probably a little bit what people see. And honestly, I just like this stuff. So I will share, hey, I found this. I found 2 of those orange Nerf softball bats so far, different places. And yes, they really do sell on eBay for $75 to $100. And yes, you can pick them up sometimes for, I imagine you'll be able to get them for free at yard sales because they look like nothing, right? And they're $1 or $2 if you find them at a thrift store, but you have to find a specific one. You can go to my profile on Facebook, you can see the picture, so you make sure you find the right one. I just like sharing these things. And I find like when you share what you're excited about, then people are like, hey, I want to learn more about that. And the fact that it is something that you can make extra money, and the fact that it is something you can do it very part-time. You can start and stop whenever you want. This isn't a quit your job and do it. It's a keep your job and do it. And like, hey, I'm going on vacation, so just stop doing it for a couple of weeks. You can like come back to it. The barrier to entry is incredibly low because we're talking buying things at thrift stores and yard sale prices, right? $1, $2, $5, $10. And it's risk-free because of this, right? Like we used to sell, if you go back far enough, you had to sell without a cell phone, right? Or you had to sell without a smartphone, but then you had to sell without an app. You had to sell without Keepa data. Like people don't realize how much information we have today to make a buying decision. But you have the eBay sold listings where you can put in orange Nerf softball bat. You can see how many sold in the past 90 days and what they sold for. And then you say it's only $1. Well, it's clearly selling for $80. Of course I'm going to buy that. And after fees and shipping and all that, you're probably going to put a clean $50 bill in your pocket for doing what? By just moving one product from here over to here, and anybody can do that. And it is a little bit of kind of a self-defense. I wrote my first book 2011, and it was kind of a self-defense book because this was early days of FBA. We were definitely the leaders in the space. Everyone was asking questions, and a lot of them were the same questions. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to write down the really long form answers to all of the most common questions about FBA. And that's how I wrote my first book. But it wasn't designed to be a book. It was designed to be a PDF that, Amy, if you emailed me, hey, I got this question, I would send this back, this long PDF. Say, read this. If you have any more questions, then ask. Not a problem, right? But it's just, I couldn't write the same long form. I probably could have copied and pasted, but I just decided to make this big long thing. I stumble onto KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. And I'm like, well, let me see if this works. I upload it, and it was really, really easy. I was like, it shouldn't be this easy. I should not be a published author on Amazon. I don't have an English degree. Like, I'm not even that good of a writer. The very first edition, if you want to know if you have a true first, of my retail arbitrage book, it has an uncapitalized I in the middle of the book. The worst typo you can make, right? Like, how did Word not fix that automatically? Why did they think, oh, you must want an uncapitalized I in the middle of the book? That's how you know you have a true first. But that was a self-defense book, right? It said, look, it's almost like a pre-qualifier book, right? Like, so if someone comes to you, it's like, I don't know if you have something you send them now. If you want to learn private label, please go watch this 5-video series and then come back. And I would guess 5% of the people do it, and 5%, you know, 95% don't. But it helps you kind of qualify where you're going to spend your time. Because I think you're a lot like me in the sense you like helping people. If someone has interest, you want to point them in the right direction. You want to like get them started. But then you realize, I can't just help everybody for free. It's not that I don't want to, and it's not that I'm doing it for money, but I just run out of time to do the things I need to do. So here's where to go. So my new book, The Flip Game, is this. It's designed to be the perfect book if you want to make money on the internet, and maybe you're not ready to publish a book, you don't have the bankroll or the knowledge to do private label yet, but you want to work towards that. You can still flip stuff on the side, depending where you live. I mean, thrift stores are open all year round. If you're in the South, yard sales all year round. I'm super jealous. In the Northeast, we're just now getting into yard sale season. This is something you can do all year long, incredibly part-time, incredibly low risk. And as the things you'll learn in it, you'll apply to something else.
Even if you're not into yard selling, you know, if you don't want to go around to yard sales, you can use Facebook Marketplace. You can use what's the I want to say it starts with an M, Mercari. You can use Mercari. You can use Garage Sale. There's all these awesome apps. And what Chris is showing, I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see. You guys can check this book out and check out the webinar that Chris is going to do leading up to this book. Here it is. You can go to flips.net/amazing at home, and you can join the webinar on June 21st is when Chris is launching this new book. But you can see, you know, if you follow Chris or you check out this page, you can see what he's doing. You know, he's finding these things, and you can find these things at yard sales. You can find them on apps, on, you know, resale apps, like I said, Garage Sale, Let Go, Facebook Marketplace. You can go to garage sales. You can go to the like different, I know we have here in San Antonio, we have those stores called bargain depots, where it's like all returns from Amazon, stuff like that, Walmart. And there's
online estate sales you can go to. There's Auction Ninja, there's Max Sold, there's High Bid. So I mean, you don't even have to leave the house for some of this stuff. And we'll talk about Google Lens, but if you want to show them some of the pictures of the things, like the fact that I use this as a real example. I am not special, and I honestly don't go to thrift stores that much. My wife might disagree, but I don't go that often. But when I do go, I find things, and I don't mind. Hey, I don't recognize this product. I'm gonna scan the barcode and see what it is, right?
So you found this personal hearing system. You bought it for $10 and you sold it for $600.
Yeah.
And so when you
that doesn't happen every day,
you're using Google Lens to check it across all the sites at once, right?
Well, this was a in a box product, so it had a barcode on the back. So I scanned it. I think I scanned it with the eBay app, or maybe I did ScanPower. But most barcodes will come up in both. If it doesn't come up in Amazon, scan it, eBay app, both completely free apps. And they're going to show you what the product is, and then what it's selling for. Because just because you got to identify the product doesn't mean that it's worth reselling. But I was baffled at this one, and I just undercut it. The other ones were selling for $800. I was like, for Pete's sakes, I'll take $600 in a heartbeat for this product.
For $10 that you paid for it.
And they could have scanned it themselves. Like, I am very pro thrift stores making the most money off of the products that they get donated, right? Like, their products, they're doing the work, they're setting it up. I think they should make more money. I don't know why they just put $10 on this product, put it out on the floor, and sold it. I don't mind, but it'll happen.
you don't mind if they do that. And then you found this Nerf bat for $2.49 at a thrift store that sells for $75. So of course that hearing thing was a really cool find, because that was like $500 profit. But this,
you don't find $600 products too often. I love this Nerf bat example though, because this truly is something. Like, people know the wiffle ball bats and the softball bats and the sporting section that they have at every single thrift store, where you go to a yard sale, they got all their kids' stuff. And I just had never seen this one before, but it was branded Nerf. And that's one of the tips that I put in the book is like, look for branded stuff. If this wasn't branded, no, it would be trash, right? Like it wouldn't make any sense, but it's Nerf and I hadn't seen it before. Nerf is a very strong brand. So I said, you know what? I almost didn't look it up. I'm so glad let me look it up. Orange Nerf bat. And you can see at the top, orange Nerf bat. These are sold listings, 99. Someone had a 6-pack of these. They actually sold this in a 6-pack. Or was it a 3-pack? A 3-pack that sold for like $300. It's like, I don't know. I think there's an adult softball league that only uses this bat somewhere, and they have to have it, and they don't make it anymore. So you have to go to eBay to find this bat.
I love it. And then even things like this, like Xbox 360 games that you would think would not be worth anything anymore because, you know, the gaming systems are outdated. But these like retro games are huge because people collect them. You know, it's just, these are the things you might not think. And you guys, here's the thing is, you know, Chris is teaching you the mindset that you should have with looking for these things. Because yes, you can do this right now. You can go to a thrift store, as Chris has just told you. You don't have to buy Chris's book. You can go to the thrift store and, you know, start scanning things and try and find things. But what's great about what Chris is showing us here is he's going to give us all the different places to find flips. He's going to show us what his mindset is and how he looks at these things so that we go and we look with fresh eyes. I remember when I first started retail arbitrage, I met with some guys that were really good at retail arbitrage, and they taught me to scan the whole aisle. At first, some of the people who were teaching retail arbitrage were just teaching, go to the clearance section. But there's gold in the full price items. And I didn't even know that until I started learning from some of these guys that were doing, you know, 6 and 7 figures a month, reselling products. So I learned from them, scan the whole aisle, look for things. And that's how I was able to pay, when I started in 2017 and I started doing private label, I was able to pay my Amazon fees because I found these cups at Walmart that I could sell on Amazon for 3 times what I bought them for at Walmart. And every month I would source that many cups and flip them. But the point is, if I didn't learn from these guys, I'd have stayed in that clearance aisle and I would have missed out on all the gold. So what Chris is showing you is really, really awesome. And for the price of a book, like, seems like a no-brainer.
Well, come to the webinar. I'll give you the book for free. I'll give you the Kindle book for free. Come to the webinar. But you have to use the link up here, theflips.net/amazing@home. The webinar is completely free. You'll get the free copy of either the Kindle book or the ebook. Kindle book if you're in the USA. I can't get the Kindle book outside of the USA. I've tried. Maybe Amazon will change the rules. But what I want people to remember is, like, I don't want people to go to stores looking for hearing aids and looking for orange bats and looking for NCAA 14. Like that's like what you might call like a holy grail game, right? That's a game that is going to be hard to find, but you can find it. But it's an easy one to always look for. But while you're always looking for it and you see something else, hey, I haven't seen that before. That's when you get your phone out and check. And I would guess probably 80% of the things you're going to check are not going to be good to resell. Right? It's kind of an 80-20 type rule. But if you go to enough stores and enough, it's like if you did enough retail arbitrage, you scanned enough books at book sales, you're going to start to learn what's not good, right? You're not going to have to scan the modern Monopoly game on the shelf at the thrift store. You're going to know that that's common and it has no resale value. You're not going to have to pick up and scan things that you pick up. You're like, oh, this is too light, right? Or this is too modern, or like this has a low regular retail price, or I can buy this at Target already for $7 kind of thing. You train yourself on those things, so you stop paying attention to them. You don't waste your time looking those things up. And you might waste some time looking them up as you learn and practice. But then you get to the point, okay, the 80% of the store that I know is not going to be good, I'm not going to look that up. That doesn't mean the other 20% is good, but it means the good stuff is in that 20%. And you use your phone to identify it and go through it and say, like, this looks good. Let me double check. Oh, I was wrong. And you put it back. Now you didn't waste your time and buy it and bring it home and thinking it was good and look it up at home. And you find something like, holy smokes, I didn't think this was going to be that good, but it really is. And you buy that and you just get better and better. And I've been doing this for decades. And like, I still wouldn't consider myself like an expert picker. My favorite time to like be a picker where I actually don't scan is when like everything's $1. Cause then you're like, who cares? Like if I mess up, it's totally okay. Which I did at a sale. It was this last weekend. I posted about it on Facebook. I bet I got $4,000 worth of Disney and Starbucks products for $200. It was ridiculous. But like, everything was, the shoes were $5 each. So I got 2 pairs of Jordans and Doc Martens for $5 each. And then they just gave me this big tub and said, like, yeah, just put everything you want in there. So I'm putting in Starbucks tumblers. They had it was about a 10-pound bag of Disney pins, like those high-end pins, like the big pins with like 2 little things on the bag. I was like, sure, I'll take this. And just so much stuff to where like I didn't scan anything because I almost would have felt bad. I'd be like, this train set's worth like $400, but they didn't care. They were thrilled that I was buying their stuff. Honestly, they're like, yeah, you want this too? You want this? They kept bringing out more stuff. And it's, I'm not just buying blank t-shirts.
You are for the people who are buying those things online for a more higher price, they're actually looking for that.
Sure.
So you're providing that service, and the people that are selling them, they might not want to go through the trouble. There's oftentimes I could donate my clothing, or I could sell it back to like a consignment store, but I just donate it because I don't have the time. So everybody has different values in the way they look at it. But I do have some questions for you, Chris. So we kind of have talked about who this is for. Like, we know it's for anyone who just wants to dip their toe, who wants to try flipping, who wants to make a little money, and they want to have the flexibility to do it anytime. But a lot of my following lives overseas. So if I live in the UK, can I do this? If I live in Australia, can I do this? What is it location dependent?
It will be, that's somewhat location dependent, just because the American culture is very much I don't want to say disposable, like in a bad way, but Americans, I feel, do replace things much more frequently than people in Europe or other parts of the country, which means we have a lot of extra stuff and we'll have way more yard sales. And like, honestly, I was in Italy, this is several years ago. I was like, how do you get rid of a couch in Italy? Like, they don't have thrift stores, right? They don't have giant garbage trucks that come by every week. Like, we really didn't know how you would get rid of a couch. So it is a different culture in different countries. I do think you can sell online. I do think there has to be some kind of like used product marketplace in most parts of the world. They might be a little different than exactly what you see in the
eBay
US.
is very popular in Australia. So like, you could definitely, in Australia, you could go. And so I would say people should look at what their resale marketplace looks like, and see, if they can start what Chris started so long ago, in their own area, right?
Well, I am very much like a creative, like, okay, here's an opportunity and people can figure out where they want to plug themselves in. So as you're saying this, I'm thinking, wait a minute, if I'm somewhere where, look, there just really aren't yard sales, there's no thrift stores, and there's gonna be a lot of people who, like, that's the reality of where they live. You could still go on sites like estatesales.net, auctionninja.com, maxsold.com, HighBid, like government auction websites. And you could use, I love using Google Lens on my phone. For iPhone users, there's no Google Lens app. It's built into the Google app. So get the Google app. It's got a little camera button. That's how you use Google Lens on iPhone. Google Lens is built into the Chrome browser. So if you're somewhere, you could be in Australia and be like, hey, you know what? I am going to go online and source products and make a list that I'm willing to sell to local eBayers. I'm going to make an estate sales shopping list saying, hey, who wants to make $1,500 this weekend at this estate sale? I've already pre-picked the sale for you from the pictures on the internet, and you just hand it off to somebody. Like, you could do you could do remote online sourcing for American-based sellers strictly through the internet, if that's what you wanted to do. And like that, that's what I mean.
And people hire shoppers in America to do it for them. And, people that are looking for extra work are happy to go to this estate sale and shop for you, and then happy to list it for you, and happy to do all of those things and, ship it out for you. And you can pay them a pretty just reasonable hourly rate, right? Or you can pay them a commission off of what you sell together. But there's always people looking for work, flexible work, with our Uber culture and our DoorDash. And there's so many people, I see in my San Antonio moms group all the time, like, people are always looking for, hey, what can I do from home? What can I do? Can I just do something local that's flexible? people are always looking to do that. So I love that. My next question for you is, this webinar, as everybody will see, is if you go to flips.net /amazing at home, you guys will see that this webinar is happening on what, June 21st, right, Chris?
June 21st. Yep.
And what happens if I can't make it live to this webinar? What can I still get a replay?
Of course, I've been getting that question a lot because I didn't put that on the page. Like, don't worry, there will be a replay. There will be a replay. I'll probably do a couple of live webinars, to be honest. The first big launch one will be on June 21st. Will be recorded. Replay will be available. You don't have to come to the webinar to get your free copy of the book. You have to register, so I know where to send it, kind of thing. But no, you don't have to come. The webinar will announce some really cool things that are coming up, especially since I don't want to give away like too many secrets for the webinar, but the summer is coming up, which means there's going to be a lot of yard sales, and we could probably do some kind of yard sale type challenge. But I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give too much away.
Chris, I'm going to send my kids because I think that they could learn so much from this. I have 2 teenagers and they would probably love flipping some things. So I think that it would be really cool for them, for sure.
I love, my kids are, well, they are 2 teenagers. They're kind of starting to get interested because now they want money, right? So my son's about to turn 16, which means he wants to drive a car. And because he wants to make money now, my younger daughter is like, well, I want to make money too. He can't do all of it, kind of thing. So they're kind of competing to who can list all the stuff on eBay. But I think it's a great thing. And I think PlayStation 5 was a good example when everybody wanted PlayStation 5 and they were like being sold for 2 or 3 times retail. And parents were like, no, look, it's already $500. Now you want me to pay even more? No. But if you say, look, I'll pay half of it and you got to pay the rest. And here's how you can do it. And you say, look, here's how to flip stuff. Here's how to flip stuff right out of our house. Go to your garage. You've probably already, that's honestly what I tell people to start with. Scan the stuff in your house. I used to say that for retail arbitrage. Go in your bathroom and scan every barcode on every product in your bathroom. And you're going to learn a little bit about, you'll be surprised at what stuff sells for on Amazon, even though like you probably bought it locally at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, whatever. There's still going to be a premium online. You can figure this stuff out at home. You don't have to leave the house. And then when a kid has that knowledge to say, hey, I sold a bunch of things and made like $850, then a lot of them are going to stop because they made the money they wanted. But now they have a skill. Now they know. They might get to college or sometimes they're like, hey, I need to make some money for something. I know how to do that. Right. Which to me is like, they're not coming back home and like, oh, I don't know how to make any money. Like, no, you know how to make money. You know how to sell stuff on eBay. You know how to take pictures. You know how to ship products, which, if you're doing this long enough, it's like, yeah, everybody knows how to do that. Everybody doesn't, but if you never listed a product on eBay, you can learn, you can figure it out. You can see, holy smoke, it is so much easier today than it was in 1999, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
Before smartphones.
Are you going to also be covering in your book and everything a little bit about how to list? Because I think sometimes listing, getting those listings done on, obviously for private label, it's a different story. Listings are a whole different thing. But are you going to be covering a little bit about showing them how to list on these various marketplaces?
I'll probably put a little bit, but honestly, not a lot. This is definitely designed to help people find inventory to sell. Because I've found this and I've taught Amazon for so long, and I don't know how many people, you'll love this, people would sign up for a repricing service before they had an Amazon seller account. And that's when I was like, okay, there's a disconnect here. Okay, like people are doing this stuff in the wrong order. Okay, like please don't sign up for an Amazon Pro seller account. Like you're starting that $40 a month ticker kind of thing. Like when you don't have a single thing to sell, let alone, why did you sign up for a reprice? Are you like, I'm trying to not be too mean. It kind of like nudge them along in the right direction. Like, no, you do not need a repricer if you do not have an Amazon selling account. But I see this as if people see something on the internet, they see something flashy and exciting, someone made this much money, and they just start signing up for things because they think that's how it works. It's like, no, slow down. If you don't have anything to sell, you don't really need to know how to list.
Yeah. So teach them how to fish first. And then, it's pretty easy. Most of these websites then walk you through the process of listing your first product, and you can just copy the listings that you just checked, you can
copy listings now, right? Like it was, you couldn't, you got in trouble if you did. sellers used to report each other if someone copied and pasted a title. They'd be like, "That's my title." They would report them. I mean, this is a long time ago. It's not like that anymore.
Well,
But it's
it definitely still is. I actually had a copyright infringement yesterday. Somebody, but on Amazon, luckily, if that product's
on
already
Amazon
there,
one,
you
yeah,
just
eBay
go ahead and
encourages
list it. It's easy. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about copying. But on eBay, if you're listing a used product, it's not like you have to worry about being an expert copywriter. You can say Nerf baseball bat, I mean,
Yeah,
because that's what
it is
people
what
are
it
going to be
is.
typing into search, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Well, I'm excited, Chris. This is really awesome. I'm going to be joining. I'm going to check this out. Everybody else, if you want to join, it's very easy. You just put in your email address right here. Hey, and then you click join the webinar. Pretty easy to do. And Chris will be in touch. And let's all flip some products and learn some things. And even if you're not in the US, take a chance, get the information, because you might have a really creative spark in your area with your unique knowledge in your area where you can make some awesome money too, especially on eBay, because people are looking for those things in your countries as well.
Yeah, this is definitely an opportunity to learn the process. And if you understand the process of like inefficient markets, we're talking like, oh, we're getting into economic theory and all this stuff. Well, yeah, sure. If you understand inefficient markets, which is basically what we're taking advantage of here, these products are in the wrong spot. And if I put it in the right spot, I'm going to make some money in between. If you understand that, then yes, this is an international opportunity where you're going to see things and be like, wait a minute, we love this product in Australia, but they don't sell it in the US. I'm going to find a way to get this product in front of a US audience, whether that's you physically being the seller, whether it's you partnering with a US based Amazon seller. Like, there are solutions to any problem if you understand what's going on and be like, oh, okay, I see the value proposition here. I see where I could bring some value to the marketplace. I see how I could actually get financially rewarded for making customers happy. And then all of a sudden, like, every day is a great day because you're just having fun all the time.
I love
That's
it.
what people can
Well,
get. And the book's absolutely free. Just come to the webinar. I'll give you a copy of the book.
yes, amazing. I love it. And thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Chris, for being here and just having this fun chat with me today about all the opportunities that we have. It's incredible how many opportunities we have to make money online. There's really no excuse. There's no excuse to not make money on the internet today. There's no excuse. You can do so much. Like, you can sell used products, you can sell new products, you can start your own brand. There are no barriers to entry, guys. And you're learning from the people that have already made the mistakes so that you don't have to, make all those same mistakes. So it's great. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing all of your techniques and tips with everyone, with the world, and, via this book, and inviting us to join this webinar. I'm excited. You guys leave your questions in the comments. Let us know if you have any questions for Chris. Let us know if you have any questions for us. And we'll see you guys June 21st. Just head over to flips.net/amazing@home and sign up. Easy peasy, free to do so, and catch the live, catch the replays, and get all the information from Chris and learn how to flip, and tell us about your flips. We want to hear. It's going to be awesome. All right,
good.
everybody.
Thanks, Amy.
Have a good day. Bye.